Yo, so what's going on, boys and squirrels? My name is Pone, and the question for you is, what is King's Road? King's Road is a free-to-play in-browser game. You can either do it through the Rumble Games website, which is the developers of this game, or you can actually do it inside of Facebook. A couple days back, I posted a What Is episode, or a Buy or Pass episode of Ballistic, which is a free-to-play game inside FPS style, similar to COD, so on and so forth. Right now, you see me playing, and I regret to admit this, with my mother. Yeah, you see that big badass over there just taking everything out? That's my mom, guys. You see me right there, like level 1 with no gear? Straight peasant? That's me. So, that's actually one of the really cool things about this, is this game is built in the standard style that you would expect out of something like Diablo. For those guys that have played Diablo, you guys know exactly what this is like. Okay, so let's just dive right in. When you start up the game, you get to choose between 3 playable classes. You have Archer, Knight, and Wizard, all of which are what you would expect, like a Warrior, Mage, Ranger, everything that you would expect out of a game similar of this genre. So you start up, you pick your character of choice, and you can always alternate. There's a guy in the middle of town where you can go back to town, and you could switch at any time and level up each character bit by bit, max out one character, come back later on, so on and so forth. Upon leveling up, you get 1 skill point to put towards it. I think there's roughly 10 or 11. I think there's like a max skill that you get at 25 that you can max out. And each one of them, some of them are like passive aura, some of them are skills, so on and so forth, that you can choose and adapt and do what you want. Obviously, my mother is a wizard right now. She summons a dragon because apparently her son is not good enough to help. And that's kind of what you deal with. You're seeing the game right here firsthand. Now, a little bit about the game. You can see up in the top right corner, there are basically 2 types of currencies, if you will, in this game. You have gems, and you have in-game coin. The in-game coin works for, items, certain things, upgrading your people and your merchants in town. For example, they're like cooking levels. The cook can cook something that can only make you 1,000 health at the start, but if you pay 20 grand to upgrade her, then she can start giving you one that gives you 2,000 health regen over 5 seconds. Something along the lines of that. So you can use that. Also, if you're killed, you can use it, and the prices do scale. So if you die like the first time in one of the levels, you have to pay 50 gold to come back to life. 100 gold the next life, 500 gold, and it does something like that. So you want to try to stay alive as much as possible. What you're looking at right now is actually my mother's gear. She's pretty geared out. She has some pretty decent gear. What you were looking at is there are about 5 or 6 tiers of items in this game that are worth looking at. You have the basic gear, which are kind of grayed out. They're standard gear that you're not going to use past like level 5, right? It scales up into green, blue, purple, orange, and red. Each one of them have their own unique abilities. Each one of them has their own scaling. So, for example, the last one is called Artifact. It's for level 60, which I do believe is the level cap of the game. So, what happens where you find these items is there are 3 difficulties that you progress through. There's Normal, there's Heroic, and I think the last one is Champion. And obviously, as you go on and you progress through these levels, you start finding those from dropped creatures more and more often. And when I'm playing in Normal right now, so about green, maybe the occasional blue and purple is found as I get farther on in the levels, which there are about 25 of them overall. So when I go through that, that's fine. Now when I move up into the Heroic, when I have finally enough gear to go in there and start taking things in either solo or with a party of 3, then I start finding higher grade items to obviously counter and start fighting those, creatures, so on and so forth. So it does scale quite nicely. I found myself doing pretty solid by myself for the first few, 10 or 15 levels. And then I realized I needed help. I called Mom up. I'm like, Ma, they beat me up. Come carry me. Power level me, Ma. And, of course, she did. And another thing that you're noticing is what you've been seeing her do is she opened a chest a little bit ago. That's where some of that other currency, that's where the gems come into play. Gems are basically a currency to help certain things. For example, if I want 6, 8, 16 slots, however many slots in my inventory or my inn at town to upgrade so I can store more stuff, I gotta pay 200 gems to do that. So certain things like there's Queen's Blessing, which is something that you get every 24 hours. You get a 15-minute boost, a 15-minute buff and upgrade to what you can do is actually have like increased EXP. You have your standard pots, mana, health. You have other things that buff, speed potions, etc., etc. It's things that you would deal with in any sort of game of this genre. So a lot of things stick to how they are, how you would expect out of other games. Now, what I like about this game so much is that not only is it a free-to-play, it's a browser game, meaning no installation, meaning it takes no time. Like, seriously, you could pause the video right now, go into Facebook, find the app, and start playing it instantly. and it's good to go. So the ease and the comfort, the fact that I don't have to download this or install this anywhere, means I can go to my mom's house and play it, I can go to my grandma's house and play it, I can go to McDonald's and play it there. It doesn't matter. It's just that comfort, that ease, and that accessibility that's so valuable. Also, split this off a little bit. What you're looking at right now is an artifact chest. That's the highest grade chest that has a 60 item in it, and it tiers. So you get a guaranteed 60 item, a legendary item, an epic item, which is purple, so on and so forth. Those different grades are obviously better. And I can't wield the 60 item, the artifact item, until I am actually level 60. Now, these cost about in-game currency, about 1,500 gems. That relates to about $15 USD. Now, like I said, everything in this game is free. You can play this game free without any hesitation, any sort of, hurdles or obstacles. You could actually play the game. One thing I will warn you guys, though, if you are heavily addicted to games and you spend a lot of money and you may not want to do that, this may not be the game for you, because I do foresee, I know my mom has spent a lot of money on this game already, and she just loves that. That's what makes these games so appealing and so attractive to people, is the gambling, the odds to see if you will get a nice item, because it's set up similar to those that have played Diablo. You get a basic item and then you have to roll it. Then you have to identify it, and hopefully you get a really nice statted item. So as you can see right there, I'm looking through my items right now, and I got a legendary item, and it goes towards my level. So had I have waited until I was 25, that would have been like a 255 damage item or something like that. Now the 60 items stayed the same. That's a nice little weapon right there. I'm holding on to that in my inventory for a while. Obviously something I'm going to be using later on. I did happen to stumble across another artifact chest later in the future, and I used gems for that. And I do have a cape to match that. Hey girl, I know, right? I'm accessorizing. So that's one of those things that's great. So you can spend in-game currency to either give yourself boosted EXP, use it for upgrading. Basically anything in the game you can use coins for. You can also use gems to speed it up. Or you can use a lot of things for in-game coin. One thing you cannot use in-game coin for are those chests, and that's what the in-game currency is kind of limited to. So back into the case of what I think this game is so special. I would rate this game on a scale to 10. I would rate this game a 9 out of 10. For the accessibility, for the fact you don't have to install it, you can play it anywhere, it's casual. But I like it for another reason. Most of the games of this type are a little bit darker. Like, for example, I wouldn't let my 8-year-old kid play Diablo. Simply because it's a little bit more darker. I mean, it is more in depth. You have trading and a merchant and a market and everything like that. So some of those things are obviously a benefit of a game that's actually been created and running on for years and years and years. For this to just be a game that has come out of nowhere and has been actually is pretty playable, pretty fun, and I find myself grinding to try to level up and get gems, is really fun. So my situation is that this game is appealing to all ages and to females. For example, I found this game, I called my mom up one day, I'm like, hey mom, I found this game you'd probably like. And she's like, what is it? I'm like, it's King's Road. And she goes, I'm already level 41. And I'm like, shit, my mom's already ahead of me. And it's what I'm saying is this is a little bit more appealing. It's a little bit more fantasy and realistic. It's colorful, it's vibrant, versus dark and demons and everything like that. So I think it's a little bit easier for kids to play, for adults, for females, so on and so forth. So that's one of the things that I think is a great asset to this game. So visually, the game is great. Obviously, things progress too. Like if I was to put on a cape, it would change. Visually, you can clothe your character, and inside of it, the detail actually change. I forget the word for it. I can't think of it right offhand, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're sitting here fighting one of the bosses. Each one of the levels has like a boss at the end of the trail. Some of these matches take about a minute, 2 minutes to get through, and we have it down. I just leveled up. I'm about to return to town after I end my level. Almost every time you finish a level for the first time, you get 5 gems. You beat it 2 more times, the same level, you'll get 5 more gems. Beat it 5 more times, you'll get 5 more gems. And at the very end of that one, after you've played it about 20 times the same level, you'll get 50 gems. So when it's all said and done, you can get up to about 75 gems per level. Like I said, there are 25 of them. When you move on to Heroic, you've got another 25. So that has been the review and the what is of King's Road. I would encourage you guys to pick it up and try it out yourself. It is a very, very fun game. I found myself playing it every day over the last 6 days. So again, hopefully you have a great day. You can find out some of the information down in the description below, and I hope you guys have a great, wonderful day. Peace out, guys. Get it.